Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Pagan, and in today's lesson we're going to be talking about identity and inverse matrices. So let's kind of talk about what is an identity matrix and actually what is a matrix, okay? Matrix is something that we use to kind of organize our information. So you've already seen it, and now we're going to learn about the identity matrix. Alright. Identity matrix, here's what it looks like. A 2 by 2 identity matrix looks like this. It has 1, 0, 0, 1. And we say that this is equal to I for identity matrix. It is kind of like the number 1 in compared to numbers. Okay, so it doesn't really do much. It's just like 1 times A is equal to A. Well, identity matrix times another matrix is equal to the other matrix. Okay. Now we also have an identity matrix of a 3 by 3, and it goes 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. And you can kind of see in the diagonals is where all the ones are meeting. All right. So what is an inverse matrix and what does it do? So the next type of matrix that we want to focus on is an inverse matrix. And basically what it does is it is the undoing of another matrix. So kind of like multiplication and division undo each other. Well, inverse matrices do undo another matrix. So let's kind of look at what that means. So notation wise is A inverse. So if we had a matrix that was A, then the inverse would be A inverse. So if we had a B, then B inverse would be what would undo it. Okay, so I like to say it's a matrix. Oops. That is the opposite of our matrix. Now, I want to explain, I put opposite in parentheses because it's kind of, when I say opposite, I'm thinking like if I have 3x equals 5, the opposite of multiplication is division. So if I wanted to do ax equals b, the opposite of that a would be a inverse. So then you would be left with this. And that's what we're going to kind of get it into. And you might not understand it at this point, but you're going to see more of it as we go into these matrix ideas a little bit more. Alright, let's look at example 1. So it says find the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix. And I have my calculator ready to go for that purpose because we are going to be using our calculator. So I'm actually going to clear. We are done graphing lines. So I'm going to clear out and go to the home page. And what it says is it says find the inverse of A. Well, we know that A is equal to 3, 2, 2, 4. So what we're looking for is the inverse of that. That little negative 1 power is the way we say inverse. So ultimately, this is equal to A inverse. Okay. Now, in the calculator, there is a place where you can put the matrices, and you can see it right here. It says matrix. It's in blue, so we're going to go ahead and do second matrix. Now, I have done matrices before, so you might not have anything here, but I do. So we're going to go to the edit section. So I'm going to go to the right twice, and I'm going to press enter. Now, we're going to put the rows and the columns. So this is a 2 by 2, which is what we learned last time. And then we're going to go ahead and input our entries. So we have 3, enter, 2, enter, another 2, enter, another 4. And then I like to double check, make sure what I have here is exactly the same as what I have here. And everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and quit out of it. Now, I'm going to recall that matrix, and what I'm trying to do is find the inverse. So I'm going to do second matrix again. And I want A because that's where we put that information. And I'm going to go ahead and find the inverse. Now, the inverse button is exactly where the matrix button was, but now you don't have to do second. You just press the button, and that's A inverse, similar to what I wrote on the paper. And then we're going to go ahead and press enter, and that is our inverse. So the answer is going to be, and I'm going to make sure these are all decimals, and you can write it as a decimal or you can write it as a fraction. If you go to math and frac, it will actually make fractions of your answers. So we have 1/2, negative 1/4, another negative 1/4, and 3/8. So that is our final answer for the inverse of matrix A. All right, let's go ahead and do this one more time with matrix B. So let's go to second matrix, and now we're going to go ahead and edit again, and this time we're going to go ahead and edit matrix B. All right, I'm going to go down one. Let's press enter. Now, matrix B is also a 2 by 2, so I'm going to press 2, enter, 2, enter, and I'm going to put the entries. And the entries are 6, enter, 1, enter, -8, enter, and -2. And then we're going to go ahead and double check everything, and everything looks good, and we're going to quit out of here. Now, we're trying to find the B inverse, which is matrix B. And here's a matrix B, 6, 1, -8, -2. We're trying to figure out what is the inverse of this. And we're about to find out in just a second. So we're going to go to second matrices again, and we're going to go ahead and grab matrix B. And we're going to go ahead and find the inverse of that. It's right underneath the math button. And we're going to go ahead and press enter. And I want those to be in fraction form as well. So I'm going to make sure, go to math frac. And here's our final answer. We have 1/2, 1/4, -2, -3/2. And that is our inverse matrices. Now you could do the same thing with C and D matrices. The only difference between these is now it's a 3 by 3 and you have to type in 3 more numbers. We'll kind of talk about those more in class. We'll practice with those, okay? So just kind of leave it alone, but know that it's ultimately the same. All right, let's go into solving. I'm actually going to solve once today in this equation, just so that you can kind of see how do you solve. And what I'm looking for is, what's the point? So I'm going to just kind of go back to something you might know. Imagine that this is 3x equals 6. So this is a 3, that's the x, equals a number 6. Well, we know that since it's 3 times x, you would have to use inverse operation, which would be division. So you would divide by 3 on both sides, and you would get x equals 6. I'm sorry, x equals 2. Now, similarly, we're going to go ahead and work on this problem, and I'm going to kind of show you using numbers. Or, I'm sorry, letters. I'm going to name each matrix. So I'm going to label the first matrix A. The second one is matrix X equals and matrix B. Alright, it could be any letter that you want. I just picked A and B, and X is just a variable, so variable matrix actually. Alright, what we want to do is get X by itself. So the only way we can do that is by taking the inverse of matrix A and doing the same thing on the other side. Now, it is important, and I'm going to go ahead and write it here. A inverse must be to the left. As a matter of fact, if you don't put it to the left of the answers, then you do end up getting it wrong. So what ends up happening is matrix A and matrix A inverse cancel each other out. You're left with X equals A inverse times B. And this is true for every single one of them. So we're going to now go ahead and use our calculator to figure out what our final answer is. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and quit out of here. Clear everything I have. I'm going to go to second matrices, and I'm going to have to edit for matrix A first. So let's go ahead and edit. And I have -3, enter. I forgot to put my rows and columns. Look at me. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do 2, enter, and 2, enter, because it is a 2 by 2 matrix. And then we're going to go ahead and put our entries. -3, enter, 4, enter, 5, enter, and -7. Now matrix A is into location, and now what we need to do is go back. So I'm going to go to second matrix again, and this time we're going to have to edit matrix B. So I'm going over. Make sure you go down to matrix B. A lot of people forget to do that, and they make mistakes. So matrix B again is a 2 by 2 as well. So we're going to go ahead and press enter and enter, and we're going to put the entries 3, 8, 2, -2. So let's do that. 3, 8, 2, -2. Alright, double check, and everything looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and quit out of there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and type A inverse times B in my calculator to figure out what x equals. So I'm going to go back to second matrix and grab the A. Put the inverse, then multiply it by matrix B. And once I have exactly what I have on my paper, I know I did it correctly, especially after double checking those entries. And then press enter, and we get our solution. So our solution is negative 29, negative 48, negative 21, and negative 34. And that's the answer to our matrix equation. Awesome job. All right. When you come into class tomorrow, we are going to go over B and all the examples of example number 3. I do want you to make sure you bring a calculator, borrow it from somebody if you don't have one, please, or download it on your iPhone so that we can use it in class. Great job today. Can't wait to see you in class. Bye.